into the black thing, want to be like more practical, I don't know, maybe not get as dirty. I like the white, but okay. So we'll go ahead and get started. The first thing you're going to need is the design. So this design does cost money. You don't have to have it. It's this Calla Lily right here. You can see it. We'll show the overhead so you can see closer. And the Calla Lily is $2.99 in the design store. The design ID is 57294, and it's by Jamie Lane Moore. And it's a really cute design. It's a fun thing to put together. So if you want the design, if you didn't get it before class, you didn't see it on the listing, you can go ahead and go to the design store. So I'll just show you in Silhouette Studio how to get over there. So you'll just click on the store. Oh, sorry, not sharing the screen. Here we go, share. Okay, so you'll just go into the design store. So it'll open up a new browser. So you won't be in Silhouette Studio anymore. You'll be in whatever browser you're using. And you can just search Calla Lily. And then you'll see it's this one. So she made it for paper. So we'll have to make a couple of adjustments. Oh, it's only $1.50. That's awesome. And then if you want to buy it, you'll just put it into your cart. And then you can do the express checkout. I've already bought it, so I don't know why it's coming up. I haven't signed in, I don't think. And she also shows you how to put these together as well. If you want to read her blog post on jamielanedesigns.blogspot.com. And again, you don't have to buy this design. All the other things we're going to do, we're just going to use Silhouette Studio, our basic tools. So you don't have to purchase it, but if you want to purchase it and make the same bouquet, do something totally different, that's great. We'll be talking all about felt. So just so you know how to get the design and where to get it, just wanted to show you. So we'll go ahead, let's talk a little bit more. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, so with the felt, there's a few things you're going to want. Obviously, you're going to want to go get your felt. So at Michael's, they have the acrylic felt, which cuts super clean with the machine and is really awesome. So here's some acrylic felt. And here's some more of the colors that we'll use. So we have the acrylic, and then I got a couple of wool blend online, and those are also great. The acrylic is a little thinner, so it cuts super clean, and the wool cuts really well as well. But you might have to like work a little bit more with it, just a warning. And then the other thing is the Rotary Blade. So trying to make sure you can see. So there's a 2. So on all of our blades for the portrait, or no, not the portrait, there's only one carriage, but the Cameo 4, they come with a number on them. So you know which carriage it goes in. So this one is a 2. So you know it goes in this 2. And if you see on the machine, this one, you can kind of press up and down. You can hear it probably. Sorry if it's really loud. But the 2 is stiff because the motor is really strong so that it can make the turns to use this little rotary cutter. I don't know how close we can get, but if you've used a rotary cutter to cut fabric for quilts or anything, this is awesome. It's kind of the same technology. It's just really small, and it cuts the fabric and it cuts felt, and it's really fun to use, honestly. And there's some little tricks that you'll need that are a little bit different in cutting felt as opposed to other designs. So we'll go through that. Other supplies you'll need, we have the strong tack mats like this one. So it has the gray border. That one's nice because it's really sticky. So it'll hold your mat, or it'll hold your felt really well. But another great option, if you don't have the strong tack or can't find it in your local Michael's, just a regular mat works great, honestly, especially if it's a new mat. Like you don't want it to be you don't want to have used it a ton. You want it to be pretty sticky still. So a new mat works awesome, especially with the acrylic felt. And then let's see, what other tools? I always like to have some scissors. So I like the Fiskars scissors a lot. They're really sharp, the ones that are specifically for the fabric. So you'll find it in the fabric section. And I just got these today because I forgot mine at home. But I'm obsessed with these scissors. They're just the fine tip, the Fiskars. I think it's the number 4, and they're awesome because you can get all of those little tiny cuts. And with cutting, on this Cameo, it cuts super clean, but sometimes like little pieces will get stuck, and these are perfect to just snip it right up. And then other things you'll need is some floral wire to make the stems. I guess you don't have to use that either. You can just roll up the felt, but I like it because it kind of gives it shape, and then I can kind of move the flowers around. And then the other thing is obviously the wire cutters to cut that wire. And then let's see what else. Oh, some other helpful things. This was a tip from Kelly Wayman. If you guys probably all know her, she's great. And so she said to use a roll, like an empty roll. So this is just from like a roll of vinyl. And this is what you use to push down your felt. So that's awesome. Or you can use a brayer. You can buy those also at Michael's, but the empty roll, if you have a lot of those lying around, you know, reduce, reuse. And then the other thing that works awesome, also another Kelly Wayman tip, is a lint roller. So this one's just like a cute little mini one. It almost is the Silhouette Blue, like so close. And I got this one at Target, if you were wondering. And, but they also have them, I think they might have them at Michael's. I couldn't find them today. And then that just peels up all of your felt pieces, which works awesome. And I think that's all of the supplies you'll need, unless there's anything you want to add, like maybe you want to put like pom-poms or those little wool, I don't know what it's called, the wool ball things. People make like the little animals, like needling them. They're really cute. So those are all the things that you will need for this project. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you're still looking for that design, again, the design ID is 57294 if you want to make this Calla Lily design, if you can see it. So we'll go ahead and go into our software. Let us know if you have any questions in the comments. We have a great team here that is ready to answer your questions. We have our social media coordinator. We have some support. So this is seriously awesome timing. And I see a lot of the people who are in the class are super helpful people. Kelly is in here. So if you have any silhouette questions, now is a great time to ask them. So let's go ahead and get into our software. So I had been just doing a test cut earlier. So this was just a square, but let's open a new window. So we're gonna start with these. They're kind of Black-Eyed Susan version. Oh, you can't see them, the yellow ones, or can they? Yeah, they can in the little screen, huh? The Black-Eyed Susan. So these ones were just kind of my own, like, just head thinking of them. So maybe you guys have better ideas of how to do it, and feel free to share any tips or any help in the comments. We love that. So I just went and I just grabbed an ellipse tool, and I just started drawing it and just kind of wanted it the size that I wanted. So I just kept stretching it, and then you can go and click your mouse tool and click off, and then look at it like, is that the size I want? If you have something in mind, or maybe you have something to reference it. And then if that's once you have that size that you want, I'll just go and control or copy. There's probably other tricks to doing this faster. If you guys have them, go ahead and share. And then I'll just start arranging it on my mat however I want. This is an awesome tool that I'm obsessed with. So you go to the transform panel. Oh, my Zoom screen is on the side here. So you go to the transform panel, and then if you want to line them up perfectly, you just I always just fiddle because I always forget, but the lines are really helpful telling you where you need to be going. So if you want them all to the left, which this wouldn't make sense to do it there, or you want them all centered. Oh, I shouldn't have done it that way because now centered. These ones are vertical, so that's nice. If you want them to space out, you'll use the horizontal, so you'll space them out just like that. And with felt, one thing that is a little bit different, but also fortunate that felt isn't super expensive like vinyl or anything like that, is you do have to space your designs out a little more. And I know I don't like to waste any of my material, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are the same way. So you have to kind of space it out, but I always just drag it and then go and check in my panel. My machine isn't connecting for some reason today. of all the days, but I'll just tell you guys how to do it. Sorry, this isn't, hopefully you guys can see it in your screens maybe. So you'll go in, oh, you can see it now. So obviously we're not going to be sending it to the machine, sorry. So, but you can see other videos we've made of the felt cutting in action. So here you'll go to your tool 2. So your tool 1 is usually kind of selected because that's what most people are using, but you'll want to make the drop down for the tool 2. So then you'll go and you'll do the rotary cut. So the difference between these ones, the rotary cut edge, if you have a more intricate design, this rotary cut edge is going to show you exactly how it's going to cut. So that thicker line is going to show you where the tangential cutting is going to move. So our tangential cutting is the way that the blade is able to cut felt, because it has to kind of rotate around. There has to be a way to make those corners, and that's the trick. So it's like a crazy engineering feat, which is really cool. And so that's another thing with felt, is you don't want to do anything too complicated, anything too intricate, because then your tangential cutting might cut into it. But these, like, imagine cutting all of these yourself. Like, I'm going to fill up this whole page, and imagine cutting all of those yourself. That would take forever, and they don't look as clean. So it's an awesome tool. So you'll check here, rotary cut, and I like to use this one if I'm just doing a simple shape because it's smaller, so you can kind of see more. And you can see here that you can kind of move, we'll select off, you can move them closer together since it's not going to be cutting into each other. You still like a little space with the felt just because it kind of will pull up, but it's nice to not have to use as much material. If you're using those simple shapes, you can kind of put them tightly together. So we'll see in the other shapes that sometimes you'll have to maneuver around. It's a trick. You guys got it, I'm sure. You guys are all silhouette masters. So then from here, you'll go and you'll select your material. So we're using felt. So we'll just scroll down. There it is, felt. And then you'll pick your rotary cut and then your rotary blade. And then from here, you would just check everything, make sure everything looks good. You probably wouldn't want to do more than one pass on felt just because it will peel up when it's cut. So instead of doing that, you would want to kind of check and make sure everything's cutting and then maybe run it through again if you needed to. But honestly, I have had a lot of success just running it through, and it just cuts it all out, and I'm impressed every time. So then, and you can kind of adjust your speed. I wouldn't recommend adjusting anything, honestly. It's all ready to go. So then from there, you would send it into the machine, and then you'll load it up in the machine. Oh, should I stop sharing? We'll talk a little bit more, and then we'll talk about the other designs. Stop sharing, where is that? Okay, so then loading into your machine. I'm sorry for people who like are doing silhouette stuff all the time, but I think these are good things to know if you're just learning or just working on it. So is there a way to do the camera overhead? Okay, perfect. So if you see these gray arrows, you want to line your mat up to that line edge. So you'll line it up there, and then you'll press this arrow button that's going in. So it'll feed it in. Can you see that? Oh, here, let's pull it over. You might not be able to see the light. Can you? There's a light right here, and the arrow's pointing that way. So you would just feed it in. And then once your material is all loaded, you'll go into your Silhouette Studio and then hit send. So if anyone's working on it right now while they're watching, share in the comments or give any tips if you've used felt before. It's super helpful. I also read Terry Johnson's blog on using felt, and that was also super helpful. Lots of good tips. It won't connect. Sorry guys, I know it's such a bummer because it's such a satisfying moment when it cuts out the felt and you just peel it up, because you can just peel it straight from the mat on like paper. So it's so fun because it's just like these perfect circles. But I'll go ahead and show you some of the pieces that we've already cut out. So this one that we're gonna do, here are all of your pieces. So, oh, and then, sorry, let's go back and share just one more time, just so you don't forget one of the steps. If you're making the Black-Eyed Susan, you want to you want to also cut a circle for this little brown spot, the brown part in the middle, or whatever color you're gonna do. Maybe you'll do it black like it looks in real life, or really dark brown, but I liked this brown. So you'll just go in, grab your circle, and then the trick to getting that perfect circle that's not elongated is just you pressing your shift key and then making it the size that you want. And then if you want to cut it all at the same time, you can just move it over here, put your yellow felt over here, and then put your brown felt on the corner. Another tip with using felt is I wouldn't ever put a design too close to the corner, even if the rotary cut isn't going too close to the corner, just because the felt is it's so easy to pull up. So if you put it too close to the corner, it might pull on it, and then you're, you know, I'm sure you guys have all been there, and it's just something, it's a trial, test and error, right? I don't know if you guys have any like horror stories from like accidents or forgetting something or putting the wrong setting. It's the worst. So just a tip to save you from some stress in the future. So we'll go ahead and we will stop sharing, and we will start with our flower. So see this circle? That's insane. Like you could never get that with your scissors. Like I have a pretty steady hand. It would never look like that in a million years. So I just take the bottom layer, and then I like hot glue, but there's also fabric fusion that's really great for using, but the hot glue is, we'll move the computer away so we have more space to work. Okay, the fabric fusion is also great. It just doesn't stick as fast. That's why I like to use the hot glue and the low temp. So, but if you want to use that, the fabric fusion is a great option, or any other adhesives, or another thing that could even level up your bouquet is using embroidery thread. And you could adhese it? What's that word? Stick it on there with embroidery thread. And even you could add little details, or I'm sure you guys have a ton of ideas of how to make it even better, more beautiful. So yeah, you just start and you just stick it on there, put some hot glue. Isn't hot glue, like, I feel like that is like a fundamental to being a crafter, right? Your silhouette machine and some hot glue, and then a lot of trips to Michael's, right? We're really excited because Silhouette is carrying a lot more products in Michael's. So we'll have a lot more supplies. We have a bigger aisle. You'll see the big blue in the back, so you'll know exactly where the Silhouette stuff is. And we're just really excited that you'll be able to, if you're at home and you're like, oh, I need a cutting mat, I need one right now, you can just run in and there it is. And if you're not going to the store, Michael's started doing a pickup service, which is so great. You just order it online and then select that you want to do the pickup, and they'll let you know when your order will be ready. It's usually, I think it's 48 hours at the most. I've had it within like a couple hours before. So if you aren't going into stores or you're just not in the mood, it's awesome. So you'll just start making your way around the circle and gluing it down. I am not a perfectionist with crafting. I'm more of a like, get in there, try it, go for it. What are you guys? Is anyone like a big planner? You have to have everything ready, or are you guys more of a just try it? I feel like Silhouette crafters have to be a little bit just try it, because there's so much to learn with the software and the machine and the materials. So you guys are all pros, I'm sure. And that is something I love about the Silhouette machine, is that it's a way to enable people who feel like they're really crafty and they just want to level up. They like see it as potential. They're like, hey, this is what I could do. I could do so much more with this. And you make something totally crazy and incredible. Like I've seen these crazy vinyl walls or just paper art. There's so much you could do. But then there's also those people who are a little bit hesitant, and they say a lot of people say, I'm not very creative, or I don't really know how to do crafting, or that's not really my thing. But to me, crafting is just so empowering. Like, isn't it the best feeling when you make something and it looks good? It turns out like even better than you imagined it. I don't know if there's a better feeling in the world. Maybe finishing a marathon, but I've never done that and I probably never will. So I'd rather craft. So does anyone have any questions? Again, like I said, there is like a wealth of resources in this classroom right now. We've got our social media coordinator. We've got our awesome support staff. Two of them are on this call, so they're ready to help if you have any questions. We also have a lot of really awesome experts like Kelly Waymont. I've seen Ellie Habits and Terry Johnson on here before. There's so many people who have so much silhouette knowledge. And the crazy thing at Silhouette as employees is we go out and we'll meet people and we'll be like, I can't believe you even, like, people will figure something out with the machine that I would never even imagine, which is really cool. Okay, so this is the last step. So you just, oh yeah. How many petals do you need to cut out? How many? I just kind of eyeballed it, and it's all kind of like how big you want it. Like this one's that I made earlier was a little bit smaller, but this one is a little bit bigger. So sorry, that's not very helpful. Let's see on here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's about 10 on the top, and I bet there's about like 12 or 14 on the bottom. So again, yeah, it's more just how big you want it. And if you make the circles smaller, then you're gonna have less, and then you'll probably have smaller petals. And so this is just kind of putting that layer in. And then, so this one is the middle part. So I just glued this part down just to kind of cover up this part. And then I cut little tiny fringe pieces in here. So you just cut around town again. So with putting the flower together, I see someone has a question about putting it together. So the first layer, you'll lay down that top circle, and this one is the one when you're drawing it in Silhouette Studio, you'll determine how big you want your flower. So I made mine pretty big. So you'll just lay that down and then hot glue each petal on, and then you'll put that other smaller circle in the middle, and then start to put your other petals on, and then put this one down to cover them up. And then this one we're gonna make into like fringe, so it kind of looks a little bit more real. And maybe you guys have a trick to making it look different. Go ahead and feel free to share any tips or questions. And sometimes you'll have to cut a little bit deeper, just whatever you think. And then I just took it and I just twisted it like this. And just kind of made a little ball, a little pom-pom. And then just kind of fluffed it to where I want it. And you might need to do 2. I probably should have cut 2 because this one's so big. But then you'll just glue it in the center. Oh, I never glued the bottom, so we'll just put this on the bottom. So glue this one and then put it down. And I got it all over my fingers. That's how I am when I craft. I don't know if anyone else has this problem. That's why I have to use the low temp glue gun. I'm not patient enough. And then put this one in the center. And then there you go. And then I'll show you how to do the stems on a later one, but we'll have this one be finished for now. So that's the top of your flower. And maybe you don't want to, this one is pretty big, but you could also use these for a wreath or a headband or anything else that you can dream up. Okay. We got it working. So we can send the felt through the machine so you can see the magic. Okay. Let's go ahead and try it out. Okay. So this is all down, and then we'll load it in. And then, so come to your design. I always have to like a million times check. So, and it's a good thing I did because I still had that circle. So we'll just cut out these ones just so you can see the magic, the petals. So again, so you go to the tool too, and then, oh, one trick, this is good that we're doing this, because one thing that you have to do with the rotary blade is you have to have everything selected to be able to choose what your cut will be. So you can do that in the design before you go to the send panel, or you can do it right here, which is super easy. So yep, we got the rotary cut, we've got the felt, we've got the rotary cut, the rotary blade, our force looks good, everything looks good. Let's go ahead and send. Are overlapping. Oh, see, that's awesome. Do you see this prompt? Some of the cut lines in this design are overlapping the cut border, so only part of the shape will be cut. So I think that I put it too close to the corner, that tip I told you guys, and then I went ahead and put it too close to the corner. So let's move it in so that our tangential cut won't do that. And then we go to the send, and then I have to check again. I hate that feeling when you forget, or if you're doing heat transfer.
You just go ahead. Say yes.
I think it's from a past design.
I'm sure.
Okay, let's go ahead and we'll watch. I can't figure out how to stop sharing. So you can hear it working. And I had pushed it down with the roll beforehand. So we'll move this out of the way so you can see more of it. Has anyone tried the felt before, or maybe fabric? Share your experiences or your tips, where you're watching from, or any of you guys watching from work. Okay, now we've got the cut, and then we'll just unload. And then again, I love it because it's like magic. You just peel it up and there it is, perfect cuts. So cool. So exciting. Okay, we'll go on to our next flower. So this is our dahlias. So we'll get the dahlias out and then I'll show you in Design Studio how I did it. So I'll pull the computer to me and we'll go ahead and share again. So I am doing things like really fast that I don't normally do. So I usually go and I save. I would recommend always starting out saving your design just so you always have it. So I always call it this, the date. I don't even know what today is, the 30th, or however you guys have of organizing. And then we'll start out. So I come into the shape panel and this teardrop shape is perfect for dahlias. So I just start drawing it. And this is where you just kind of have to decide. I think that this one that I cut out is going to be pretty big again, but you just kind of decide what the size you want the dahlia to be. So you'll just look, and I love the mat that it shows you the sizes. So if you ever need to see more of the mat, you just up your transparency. And then some versions, I think it says reveal. So I always like to see more of the mat. I like the lines, pretty prominent. So you'll just make it however size you want. And then it's ready to go, really easy. And then this one, you'll just do the same thing. You'll just make a bunch of copies and then you can line them up with your transform panel. Oops. I didn't mean to do that one. Horizontal. Is it that one? I don't know, there must be some trick I'm not doing, right? So they're not touching to make them separate? We'll try again. Weird, I don't know. So you'll get them separated, and this one we'll show in the send panel again, because you'll see more with this one, that you're going to need a little more space. So let's go ahead and go to the send panel. It's not, oh, and one more thing you'll want to draw is you'll want to do the layer, the things that'll make it layered. So again, shift, and then you just make your circle. whatever size you want. So we'll need one for the center, and then we'll need one for the base as well. And again, if you want your center to be like thicker, you can do 2. So then we'll go into our send panel and then select all of them and go to rotary cut, and then check here, felt, acrylic, rotary cut, rotary blade. And this is where, see that tangential cutting? These ones are pretty close together, so you'd probably want to space them out a bit. So we would probably want to move this one away. And this isn't how you want to send it, because you don't want to waste your material, right? So you'll just adjust as needed, and then do the same thing as we did. When you're ready, you'll load your mat in with your felt, and then send it, and then cut it, and then we can start to glue. So we'll go ahead and stop sharing, and we'll start gluing. So we'll take our bottom piece and put that down, so that's your base. And then this one takes a while, so there's a lot of gluing. So I don't know if we'll finish this one, but you just glue in the center, just put like a little line, however much you need, and then stick it together. And then I just do each petal. I like to kind of do like factory way of doing things. So you just kind of do everything at once, connect it, kind of thing. It's fun if you're watching a show or listening to music or something. Is there a show you guys are all watching right now, or something that you've gotten into? I love the Great British Bake Off, but I haven't started the new season, so don't give any spoilers. That one is just so heartwarming. I can't get enough of it. So you'll glue all your petals together, and then from there, you'll start gluing them onto your base. I hate that when the glue is almost out in your glue gun. So I'll grab some more glue, and then you just kind of stick it down however you need to. And then you'll just go around town basically again. Just get the glue down for each one. If you guys have any tricks for getting that new glue stick in, good, let me know. That's like the only thing I don't like about using a glue stick. So you'll glue everything down. I'm just gonna push it through maybe. We'll just get some of the glue out. And you guys probably look a lot cleaner. Mine is like getting glue in the center and my fingers. And then as soon as you have it glued all the way around, what time is it? Actually, let's go ahead and glue it. So what was the first thing that everyone made with their silhouette machine? Why did you get your silhouette? Oh, let's see, Ellie Mae is giving a tip for glue. Someone told me to add a drop of glue to the end of it and then put it in the glue gun so it sticks to the stick that is already in the gun. That's so smart. Not much, just enough to get it to stick.
Sarah, somebody is asking about how many teardrops you use for the Dahlia.
I should have counted, but again, it's kind of up to you how many you want to, how big you want it to be. So this one I feel like is about the same as the one that I made earlier. So let's see, how many have we glued now? 1, 2, 3, 7. So we're at 7 right now. And then I would say, like, I'm shocked, like you need way more than you think because you fold them. That is the tip I would say. So I would say, like, if you have enough felt, just cut a bunch. Like I would say at least 20 if you're doing one dahlia, and then definitely more from there. And that's the fun thing about the flowers is you can kind of just do whatever. Like you can have lots of colors, or maybe you would want to like mix them in, do different colors. Maybe you want to keep them really close to life. Let's see, what's everyone saying? Oh, made cards for a missionary group at church. Cool. Carol Little is saying she got hers for fabric applique and then learned about vinyl. That is the thing. I feel like everyone who gets a silhouette, you're like, I don't really need to make anything with vinyl, like a lot of people. And then they're like, oh, there's so much you can do. Like I could make labels for my organization. I can do this kind of thing. And a lot of decorations, I feel like I'm surprised, like, oh, I could do that with vinyl and it would look so good. So it's fun. And vinyl is a fun, if you're just getting started, vinyl is a great material to start with. And you can get a lot of those supplies at Michael's. So you don't even have to wait for shipping. Again, unless you want to use the pickup, which is also awesome. Okay, Linda says that there's about 26 petals for this one. Thanks for helping us out. Oh, Ellie may want a silhouette portrait in a digital scrapbooking contest. And then told her she needed the Cameo after she'd only used it once. Yeah, vinyl is so forgiving. Carol's saying it's so forgiving. It's awesome. I love vinyl.
So are you just folding them in half and gluing them shut?
Oh yeah, just folding them in half. And then I just do a little line. And then I just squeeze it together with my fingers. And then it's ready to go. So it is easier to do it the factory way, I'd say, to like do one process at once and then move on. So we'll go ahead, put these ones on. I think this might be enough. So from here, you'll take your circles that you cut out. And from here, let's see, we'll grab two. Let's see. So these ones, you can see this one I did 3 layers. And then this one, these ones I just did 2. So you can decide, and maybe you just want to do 1. Maybe you just want to be like a little tiny dahlia. So whatever you want, or you can grab this other base. I might just snip it a little bit. I made it too big. See, look at those cuts. Like I have a pretty steady hand and you can see the edges so easily. It's crazy. The technology is insane. Okay, so I don't like to put it on. I just like to make sure I have the right size. And then I'll do another layer before I glue. So you just do another layer. And one thing that might make it look like even more elegant, even more real, is maybe even making some petals smaller. And so then your second layer is a smaller. Here, I'm gonna move the laptop away so I have more room to use the table. So again, we'll just do the same process, same thing. This is kind of the monotonous part of crafting, but sometimes I like it because you've already done so much thought and like picking out your colors and your design and doing all the work to plan it and buying it, that this time, now it's just kind of like, okay, now I'm getting it done. So I've noticed that a lot of people who buy silhouette machines also like to use a heat press. Do most of you guys have heat presses? I feel like a lot of people like to make the t-shirts and they're like, I gotta get that heat press. I've used an iron usually, but the heat press is probably faster, huh? Oh, Carol says she has 3 silhouette machines and a heat press. That's awesome. Okay, I think we might have enough petals glued maybe for our second layer. The only bad thing about glue, hot glue, is these little strings. I think I ended up cutting my circle too small, so I should have just trusted what I already cut. So we'll go ahead and just do the same process, just gluing that edge, getting it on there. And the thing with felt that's nice is you can kind of maneuver it. Like once it's even glued, you can kind of just open it up. I like that with paper too. If you've made paper flowers, like your first result doesn't have to be the final one. You can fluff it a little bit. I glued it onto the table. What is your favorite tool in Silhouette Studio that you're like, I cannot live without this tool? I love the offset tool, if you've ever used that one. It's so cool. That is a helpful one. We'll talk about it in our next flower because that one is a good one to use with felt. So the offset tool can make any design a print and cut, but it can also just kind of make your design less intricate. And so that's why you can use it with the felt. I didn't do very good at arranging this one. Whoops. See, I'm not a very perfect crafter. The trace tool, or are you sure it's the same, the trace? Oh, and crystal. The trace tool is awesome. Are you guys making a lot of fun fall crafts? I love fall. That's like when I craft the most, I feel like, is for fall, is during fall, and then for Christmas, usually, for the winter holidays. Let's see. Let's do a couple more petals just to fill it out. One thing that would help, and I learned this with cake decorating, and I didn't even follow my own advice, but is you, instead of just going around the town, is you kind of line them up. So you do like these two first, and then these two, and then fill in from there. But again, it's just for fun. It doesn't have to be perfect. Working on stencils and acid etched glosses. Cool. Who is that? Carol Little. That's awesome. The gloss etching is so cool, I think. It looks so sharp and professional. Okay, so this one is a little bit wonky, but that's okay. And then you'll just take it and then you'll just kind of arrange it on there how you want. And then you'll find the glue on the bottom and just, and depending on where you're putting these, you can kind of, it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect on underneath, or you can take your time more. I've just been chatting, but you can take your time more if you want. And then you'll take your circle. This is another one that I cut on accident. So not the perfect circle, but we'll do the same thing as we did on the other one, making the fringe. So just cutting little, and the thinner they are, the more like twisty it'll be. So just cutting in, and this might be kind of the same trick. If you cut kind of this side, then that side, then that side, then that side, it can make it smoother, but this one I like to be a little bit random. But if you're more precise, see, I cut that one off, whoops. And then just again, take the ends and just twist it around until you find the shape that you like. And this is the same thing. Like if you want it to be more fluffy, you can do two, however you want. And then we'll just glue on the bottom and then stick that into the center. And then once it's in, that's where you can use those fluffing skills. Maybe if you need to fill in a petal, you can totally do it. See, there's a little open spot. We should fill a petal in there. If you guys make these, definitely share them and tag silhouette.ink on Instagram, or share them in our Facebook group. Our Facebook group, we do giveaways every week. It's awesome. It's a good place to like ask questions, get tips. So there's our Dahlia. And then let's do the Calla Lily. That will be our last one. I'll show you what I did with the other ones really quick, but we won't put them together. So we'll switch into our Silhouette Studio. This is a long class. You guys are awesome for sticking through. Again, great time for questions. Lots of resources. So we'll go into our design, and then we'll just open up here. Actually, oops. Oh, I just saw it. Well, you can type it in, but it's right there. So you'll just double click on that. And then from here, so these are all of your pieces. So I like to color everything. Since this is a design that comes together, I like to color everything so that I know what is going where and what color I need to use. So these ones are your center. So you're gonna use the yellow. So I just go to this fill and I just grab the dark yellow because that's the color it will be. And then I'll grab these guys. This is our outer petal. So you'll do the white. These ones are kind of the inner center part, and that's a lighter yellow. And then here's our leaves, and we'll do some green and then also some green. And it's not cutting these colors, so I just kind of grab, but if you are one of those people, you're like, I want it to be the color that I like, you can adjust. There's so many different ways to get more colors in here. You can do the eyedropper tool if you ever have other things in there. So then this design is made for paper. So that's why if you see those kind of rough edges almost, it's so that the paper can fold and not break or tear or be super bent. So this one is like really jaggedy. So I'm just gonna ungroup and work on one petal. So we'll grab one petal and let's zoom in a little bit so we can see better. So there's your zoom tool. And then I just right click and then you go to edit points and then see all these little points. So this is where each turn, if you just use the design like this, the rotary blade would have to cut around each of these turns. So you don't want that. You want it to be really smooth. So this is a good trick. If you ever have a design that you're wanting to change the edges, I just started deleting some of the points just so it's easier to work with. And it's one of those things, sometimes you just kind of have to get in there, try it. You might delete something that you're like, no, and then you just do that. You hit that undo button, right? So get some of those points deleted. And then another really cool thing, see that little tiny blue square? You can adjust the curve there. So you can delete a lot of the points just because you can adjust it with that curve instead of having so many points. And maybe you're using paper, so maybe this is awesome. Maybe this is the design you want. So then you can kind of make it a little more curved, delete each point. Ah, see, didn't mean to delete that one. And you'll just go around, see if there's something else you need to delete. I made it a little rounder down there. Let's see, nope. Just trial and error, right? You can adjust that curve. And then sometimes I'll just click off, see, okay, that looks a little jagged right there. Everything else is looking pretty good. So I'll just edit points again. Maybe we'll just see, well, that one, was that the one that deleted the top? No. So then this one is, it bolds red line when you're using that curve So those points, those lines in between that point. So you know that if you adjust this, that you're going to be adjusting this curve. So you don't want to do that because that curve looked okay to me. Actually, you know, let's adjust it a little bit. Let's make it a little rounder. So if we're wanting to adjust this one, let's have less. We'll click on this, and this is where you can kind of just make that rounder. And then we just work from there. So yeah, we'll adjust this one. So this line is coming out. There's so much you can just play around with in Silhouette Studio. It's so fun. And then click off. That looks pretty good to me. So I would say that one's ready. So you can just create those. And then let's zoom back out a little bit. So each piece, these ones are a little bit jagged. So you might want to do the same thing with these. These ones are really smooth. These ones are also smooth. And this is for your stem. This square is for your stem. If you want to do that, I just kind of created rectangles. So you can just create your own rectangles and then do the same things. So you'll just come in and then you'll just create it how thick you want it to be. And that's how you'll create your stems. Oops. And then I'll show you how to do the petals as well. So I kind of liked this one for the petals, but it's kind of up to you how you want the petals to look, or maybe you want to just use a design that you have. So you could do an oval. So I kind of just made them like this, and those kind of looked like the leaves that I wanted, just thick leaves. I'll show on the screen again, but they're just pretty big, and it's the same thing. You can kind of maneuver those, like you can like glue in the center to make them more folded, or you could use embroidery thread. So then you'll just create that same thing and just fill it up just like we did on the other ones. I don't want to take too long, so we'll go ahead and stop screen sharing unless anyone has any big questions about using the Silhouette Studio. Just one more reminder, we'll go back and send just so you remember. So to use the Rotary Blade, you have to have your designs selected. So I just drag both of those, and I know that I want to cut, and I want to use the acrylic, rotary cut, Rotary Blade, and you know, let's just cut it one more time just for fun while we start doing the other one, right? It's so satisfying. Okay, we'll use a different mat. So I was using the Strong Tack mat earlier. Here, we'll go ahead and stop sharing so you can see the machine. We were using the Strong Tack mat earlier, but like I said, this regular tack mat works just as well. And I just kind of stick it on as well as I can. And you don't want the edges leaning off. Like you wouldn't want to like put it on, like if you put this side on, oh yeah, zooming out, awesome. Like if you see how this one is over the corner, like it kind of lifts up, you definitely don't want that. You want the felt stuck to the mat as well as you possibly can on each edge. So if you have to go more in the middle, do it. It'll stay on the mat better because you want every part of the felt touching the sticky part. So we'll grab our tube and roll it down. And I just kind of like push it down too. So you can do it however works for you. And then we'll load it up. And then we'll make sure that it's lined up with that edge. Load it in. Oh, I think I was holding on to it too tight. We'll try again. It's hard doing it at this angle. I'm usually going straight on. I don't know if you guys have tables like this, but if you have any tricks. And then we'll go ahead and let's do it. I'm gonna go grab a different design real quick. Just so it's more fun. Something a little bit different. And we'll go ahead and send. Okay, awesome. So our next flower, I'll show you how to put together the cowl. Let's see, what other flowers do we have? We'll do this one really quick because it's really easy. So this one, Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go back to the design. So I'll share it in a second. We'll do something else because it's more fun to watch the machine cutting, I think. Oh, okay. I'll show how to do that. And this video will be available on Michael's YouTube very soon. There are so many classes on Michael's, like you could literally learn any craft or DIY project. See, isn't that the best? Perfect circles and those perfect points and circle. It's crazy. It blows my mind. Okay, just this last one. This one was just kind of something I just like made up kind of. So it just kind of looks like a bloom. So really quick, I will share my screen and just show you really quick how to do that in Silhouette Studio. So I just grabbed a shape that I liked. So this one. Oh, no, that's not the one. Does this one have those round edges? I keep grabbing the wrong one, sorry. I think it was this one. So this one, and then see this line in the center, those are flexi shapes. So you can make it so there are less petals if you go down and more if you go out. So you can adjust that shape as needed. Oh, and I'll show you really quick how to do the offset too. So I just right click and I just go offset, and then see that outline, we'll pull out the center. So either you can use that as a print and cut or take this off, and you can see how it made it the edges a little bit softer, or you can do this. So maybe you don't want them so soft. So here you just click offset, and then see this distance. You might just go down so that the further down you go, the more inset it is. So the sharper corners and edges you'll have, the higher you go, the softer the edges will be. So with felt, you'll want the edges to be pretty soft. So that's what will work the best. So this shape, I bet will cut out perfectly. This one probably will cut out pretty well too. You kind of have to trial with felt. So it might require a little patience, but I'm sure you guys got it. Okay, we'll go ahead and just do the stem and then we'll wrap up. This takes a long time. I hope you guys aren't like bored to death. So with this one, I just kind of guessed and I just folded how I wanted the shape to be and just kind of saw and just made that. And then I just glued everything together. And then just held it. This one's a lot bigger, but it probably works if it's smaller. And then you just have your little bloom. And then we'll do the stem part. The Calla Lilies, honestly, that tutorial from Jamie Lane is great. It's the exact same as you would do with paper as with felt. So you'll grab your floral wire, and then I always go a little bit longer just to be safe. And here, let's move the computer. And then you grab your wire cutters. Oh, Kelly Wayman, good point. Okay, Flexi Shapes is available with Designer Edition Plus and Business upgrades in Silhouette Studio, but you can also just find a shape or draw a shape yourself however you want instead of using that Flexi Shape tool. So I always just bend the edges just so it's not so like sharp and hard to work with. Oh, Ellie Mae is saying it's worth the upgrade for all the options. I totally agree. So, and then it's kind of crazy wire, but you just I just try to straighten it out as much as I can. And then I'll just lay it on top of the piece. That one's pretty thin. We'll grab a thicker one. So this is where there's a little maneuvering, but you'll just decide how thick you want your stem to be. So I like the metal part out just a little bit, just so there's a little hook. And then you'll start folding this over. And it's kind of tricky, like it's a both hands on the court kind of situation. So you'll just glue down that edge. The first one is the hardest to get, I would say. And then just glue it, just keep folding and keep folding all the way down. What kind of crafts are you guys working on? Is anyone working on an exciting project or a big project, maybe a big vinyl decal for a wall or something? Or is anyone making stuff with felt already? Maybe some of you came into this knowing how to do it and just wanted to watch. I get that. Or silhouette super fans. We love you guys. So again, all of these materials you can get at Michael's, and way more silhouette materials and supplies will be available at Michael's. We have our Portrait 3, our brand new machine. It's smaller, it's easy to take on the go. Like, I love craft parties, and so it's perfect for that kind of thing. So it's awesome, and it's available on Michael's now. So then you'll just kind of see, you'll check, like there might be little holes that you need to fill in, and my gluing was not very precise, but that's okay. So then you just kind of fill it in however you need. And then this is nice because you can always adjust it and change it however you need to. So it doesn't have to stay in this shape. You can get it to be a little more straighter. And then we'll grab our bulb, and we cut out another circle. So this is perfect. So I just cut out another circle in the felt, and then you'll just put this on here and then see where you want it to be. And then your circle will just cover it up. So ideally it would be the same color. So you'll just grab this one, put some glue down. This one might be worth using a stronger temp or a stronger glue, just because it is a little bit more to hold on to than the felt. But this one worked fine. This is what I used for those, but depending on what you're using it for, you might want a stronger adhesive. And then just glue it down. And then you have your flower. And then you can adjust it as needed. And then you can grab some leaves. And maybe you want to use the leaves from the Calla Lily are really great. So you can use those if you want to make it look a little more real, cover up. That's the awesome thing with the leaves, is you can kind of cover up those glue pieces. And then these are also the leaves that I use, these little circles. So, and maybe you'll cut all this out and you'll be like, I need more leaves, and you can grab some more. So, is there any other questions that we need to hit on? Sorry that we didn't get to the Calla Lilies. Again, Jamie Lane Design at blogspot.com if you want to learn how to make these Calla Lilies. And the design ID is 57294. And our Cameo 4 is available on Michael's, all of our products, and anything you're looking for, anything you want, any supplies. And we have a lot more exciting stuff coming up, and it will be available on Michael's. So keep your eyes peeled. Thanks for having us.